Satsangatve nissangatvam nissangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nichalatatvam nichalatatve jivanmuktihi punarapi jananam punarapi marana punarapi janani jatare shayanam iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pagi murare.
Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Narayana Parovyakta Dandam Abhyakta Sambhavam Andasyantasthime Loka Sattadvipacha Medini Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vidam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramityavidiyate Etadyo Veti Tam Prahuhu Kshetragna Iti Tadvidaha. So we are in the commentary for the second sloka. Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragnayor jnanam yattu tatu jnanam matam mama. So the meaning of the sloka is Bhagavan is addressing Arjuna, saying that you know the knower of the body to be me, non-different from me, and that knower of the body, that is a consciousness principle, is available in every body. So the consciousness principle within the body is able to objectify the body. Body means body-mind complex. And that kind of a consciousness is there in every body. And that consciousness is non-different from Brahman, which is all-pervading. And that is pervading the entire sentient and insentient in creation. So that means when Bhagavan says this, Brahman is the one that is the substratum for all the sentient beings. And not only the substratum for the sentient beings are all having bodies, and the bodies are all definitely, body and mind complex is definitely a product of the insentient Prakriti, and Bhagavan is the adhishtanam for that, and Prakriti is what is available in the whole creation also as the observed world outside the body. So for everything, Bhagavan is the, Brahman is the adhishtanam. And now Bhagavan is saying that this Brahman is what that consciousness available in every body is in truth. So knowing the kshetram to be inert and observable and knowable, and the kshetragnam as the knower, and also that the kshetragna and kshetram all have Brahman as the adhishtanam is the right knowledge. So that is the idea in this sloka. And when the statement that the kshetragna, that is the observer in every body, is non-different from Bhagavan, questions arise as to if such is the case, nobody will accept that there is samsara for Bhagavan, samsara for Jiva also. In such a case, there will be no Jiva also. So the Shastram, that is the teaching that is there in the scriptures, that becomes redundant. There's no use for such teaching at all. So that is a undesirable sequence. So these are the questions. For that, the reply given by the Vedantin is being now taken up for a very great detailed explanation. So the Vedantin first says that the problems that you say arise because of the declaration that the Jiva is non-different from Brahman. Those problems are not there really. So that is what is conveyed by now, and that will be elucidated. Jnana-jnanayoho anyatvena upattehe. So this is called a concise reply, and the concise reply will be explained in detail. So jnana-ajnanayoho anyatvena upattehe. That is, when jnana is there, there is no samsara, there is no objection of any type. And when there is no jnana, there is ajnana, then there is samsara. So that distinction between the contrast between jnana and ajnanam, jnanam and ajnanam is demonstrated by taking up many Shruti passages, then some Gita passages, and Nyayam, that is logic also. So this is what is the content of this paragraph that we are going to take up today. Duramete Vishparite Vishuchi Avidyayacha Vidyeti Jnata. So this is from the Kathopanishad. So what it says is Duram Ete Viparite Vishuchi, that is Avidya and Vidya. There are two things which are totally opposite to each other, and they point to different goals altogether. So when there is Avidya, the effect is totally different, and when there is Vidya, the effect is totally opposite. So that is what is stated in this Shruti passage. So that means when there is Avidya, there is samsara. When there is Vidya, there is no samsara. That is the gist of that. Gist of that Shruti. Tata tayoho vidya vishayayoho palabhe. Also, the fruit of the vidya and avidya, that also is being stated in totally contrasting terms. Shreyascha preyascha iti. So Shreyas is liberation or emancipation. Preyas is this worldly and otherworldly attainments. So Shreyas and Preyas are two different things. And a person who is going for Preyas will continue to be in samsara only, even though it would look like golden shackles. Whereas a person who is going for Shreyas will break those shackles and be free forever. Then Vidya Vishayaha Shreyaha. So this mantra says is Vidya Vishayaha Shreyaha Preyastu Avidya Karyan. So from Vidya, through Vidya, a person attains Shreyas, that is liberation. From through Avidya, he will continue to be in Preyas. Tathacha Vyasaha. So he is quoting the words of the Mahabharata, authored by Veda Vyasa. Dvavimau atapantano ityadi. So dvau imau atapantano. Pantha is the path. So there are two paths only. One path leading to Preyas and the other path leading to Shreyas. Ityadi. Imau dvaveva panthano. There is another passage like this, but the reference for this has not been available. Bhagavad has cited it anyway. So there are two paths only. So this statement is very emphatic that there are only two paths. There is no third path at all. Ihacha ve nishthe uppe avidya saha karyena hatavya iti shrutismriti nyayebhyaha avagamyate. So here two paths have been mentioned. That is prescribed. One path is the path of pravritti, and the other path is the path of nivritti. So pravritti path takes a person towards samsara and perpetuating samsara. He will be remaining there only. And the path to nivritti will be releasing the person who takes up the path. Avidya cha saha karyena hatavya iti shrutismriti nyayebhyaha. From the Shruti and the Smriti teachings, we come to know that, and the teachings based on logic, we come to know that avidya cha saha karyena hatavya. So when the Shruti and the Smritis are talking about two paths, the choice is implied. That is, there's no need to articulate choice. So there are two paths like this, one path leading to samsara and the other path leading to liberation. So the message conveyed is, implicit message is that one has to give up the path of samsara and attain liberation. So that's what is stated here. Avidya cha saha karyena. Avidya along with its effects. So avidya is the basic mula avidya, that is ignorance, basic ignorance. And its karya is the taking the body to be oneself, and from there starts the whole of samsara. That is taking the outside objects and people and all that to be something to be stated as mine, and some people are not mine and all that. So this raga, dvesha, all that is there, involved there. So avidya cha saha karyena hatavya. Hatavya is it has to be dispelled. Iti shruti smriti nyayebhyaha avagamyate. So we come to know from the shruti, smriti and logic that this has to be, avidya has to be given up along with its effects. Shruteyaha tavat, he is mentioning certain Shruti passages which give this meaning. Iha ched avedit atha satyamasti nachediha avedit mahati vinashtihi. This is from the Kena Upanishad, very popular passage. What it says is, if a person were to know the truth, for him, the liberation, that is when he is in this body, when he is in the body of a human, where the sadhana is possible, then there is release from samsara, satyamasti, nachediha vedete mahati vinashtihi. If he is not getting this knowledge in this body, then a very great loss is there for him, because he has wasted this body and the life in this body, and then there is no guarantee that he will be getting a body in the next life to initiate sadhana. So this is the danger it is giving us a warning. Then tameva viditam tameva vidvan amrita iha bhavati nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya. This is very popular in the Purusha Suktam, Taittiriya Aranyaka. So what it says is tamevam tam evam vidvan amrita iha bhavati. A person who has known this Brahman that has created this whole universe, and it is available in the jivas as the sentient entity, that Brahman has to be known. And a person who knows this, who realizes that Brahman, for him, he becomes immortal here itself. That is, even while alive, he attains the fruit of moksha. That is, there will be no more births for him. And when he gets this realization, he will also realize that there have been no births also for him. So all this having been born and all that is only a seeming thing, and he comes to know about the truth. Then nanya pantha vidyate ayanaya. There is no path other than knowing this Brahman for release. Then vidvan na vibeti kutaschana. So this is from the Taittiriya Upanishad, where it says that the person who is a knower, he is totally free from fear. So fear is the one which is keeping a person in samsara, and the fear is that the fear of death and the fear of losing one's identity, one's wrong identity. The person thinks that that wrong identity is his true identity, and he is refusing to give up that identity, and death he thinks that will put an end to that wrong identity, and that is the cause of fear. So here, vidvan na vibeti kutaschana. There is no source at all in the whole creation from which this realized person can can be afraid of, because when he realizes the truth, he has realized the entire cosmos to be himself and not different from himself, and so there is nothing in the whole creation that can any fear for him. So because he knows that the whole of the cosmos is only unreal, mithya, and the truth behind the cosmos is Brahman, and that he is that Brahman. And he also rises above fear, because fear is only there for the body-mind complex, and he knows that he is not the body-mind complex, and so Atman has no fear from any quarter altogether whatsoever. Then avidashasto, then the contrast is being shown here. For a person who is ignorant, who remains in ignorance, for him, atatasya bhayam bhavati. For him, there is fear definitely, because he has not realized the oneness of himself with Brahman, that is a fearless. Abhayam vai janaka praptosi. So fearlessness is one name for Brahman also, and the state of attaining Brahman also is called Abhayam. So Janaka is addressed by Yajnavalkya, saying that you have realized the fearless. So Abhayam by Janaka Praptosi. Of course, here this Atatasya Bhayam Bhavati is from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Janaka Yajnavalkya is from the Brihadaranyaka. Avidyayam Antare Vartamanaha. So this Kathopanishad says that those people who are meaning in Avidya, they are devoted to actions, karma, whether it is joined Veda enjoined karma or Laukik karma or whatever. Even that Veda enjoined karma is being criticized, saying with the idea that it will keep a person in samsara only. So avidyayam antare vartamanaha swayam viraha. So this they think that they know everything, and they know the means of karma and the base of karma and all that, but they are really ignorant ones. Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. So here what it says is the one who realizes Brahman becomes Brahman itself. Anyosau anyohamasmiti nasaveda. So this second quotation is a part of the first one, in the sense, a person in the Brihadaranika 1.4.10, where the Aham Brahmasmi is there. So it says that a person who realizes Brahman, he becomes verily Brahman, and he becomes infinite. He becomes all. So the mantra continues to say that Anyosau anyohamasmiti nasaveda yatha pashurevam sa devanam. A person who thinks that he is different from the deity whom he is praying to, such a person is definitely ignorant one, nasaveda. He has not known the truth, and his situation is that he is like akin to the pashu who evam sa devanam. So just like a person who is having a lot of cattle with him as his wealth would not like to give up any one number of that cattle to tigers or foxes or whatever. He would like to protect them and keep them with him because that is his wealth. So he will be like that cattle to the devas, because the devas are always wanting to have the humans performing the yajnas and all that, so that the devas will get the offerings from them. So they will not permit the jivas to go out of this circle of being a person who is in action. So that is the idea they are conveyed there. Atmavittes yaha sa idam sarvam bhavati. So that Shruti itself says that tasmat tat sarvam abhavate. So that tasmat tat sarvam abhavate, that is being annotated, or it is being stated in, rephrased or stated in these terms, that Vidvan Atmavita Yaha Saha Idam Sarvam Bhavati. The person who has realized the Atman becomes everything. That is, it is not that he becomes everything. He realizes that he is infinite. That's the idea conveyed here. Before, he was of the idea that I am a small person. I'm a puny this body. I'm limited to this body, mind complex alone. And there is such a huge cosmos before me, and everything is different from me. So all that also will create fear. So now he realizes that he is that very creation, that is the adhishtanam for all that creation, and creation is not really there at all. Then yada charmavada akasha. So this is also a very famous statement in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. It says that if a person were able to the whole of the sky like a mat, then he might be able to realize, or he might be able to get liberation without knowing the realizing Brahman, which is the cause of the entire creation, cause of the underlying sentient entity underlying the cosmos. So yada charmavada akasham. So if a person were able to do this, that is roll up the entire sky as a mat, like a mat, then he might be able to realize the liberation. He might be able to get liberated without knowing the Brahman. So what it conveys is that one has to realize Brahman in order to get realization. That's what it conveys. Then ityadyaha sahasrashaha. There are thousands of passages like this which are giving the thing that a person with knowledge, he crosses over this illusion, and the person who is ignorant, he continues to be there in the samsara. So for that, there are so many passages. A few of them have been given as a sample. Then now he is giving some Smriti passages from the Gita itself. Smritayascha Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. In the 5th chapter, there is this shloka. Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. So the living beings are all in delusion because their intellect has been enveloped by ignorance. So ajnanena avritam jnanam. So their jnanam, or their thinking faculty, is enveloped by this ajnanam. So they are not able to come out of ajnanam, and because of that they remain deluded. Samya sitam manaha. Then the contrast of that is stated here. Ihaiva tairjitas sargaha yesham samya sitam manaha. For those who have planted, or who have installed, or who have deposited their intellect in the Brahman, which is samam, which is equal everywhere in the whole creation, for them this liberation is guaranteed here itself, because ihaya tairjita sarga. Sarga is creation, that is, they won't be born again. since they have realized Brahman to be their own self. Then Esham Samya Sthitam Manaha. Then Samam Pashyan Hi Sarvatra Samavasthitam Ishwaram. So that is from the 13th chapter, this chapter itself, where Bhagavan says that Samam Pashyan Hi Sarvatra. So when a person who is able to get the vision of this Brahman, which is available in the whole of creation, such a person, he is definitely freed from samsara, ityadyaha. Then he now gives a few samples from Nyaya. Nyaya is logic. So here it's very, very appealing. Sarpan kushagrani tatha udapanam jnatva manusyaha parivarjayanti ajnanatastatra partanti kechit jnane phalam pashya yatha vishishtam. So this is a very beautiful teaching. It is worth contemplating. It is not asking us to believe in something and all that. It is so very clearly laying bare the truth by giving the contrasting positions. Sarpan, kushagrani, tatha udapanam. That is, in a path which is there, the path is bound to be infested by snakes. And then the path can also have thorns. Kushagra is a representation of thorns. Then udapanam, that is, there can be deep wells also in the path. A person who doesn't know these things are there, or the person who knows these things are there in the path, he will be careful and avoid these things. When he is required to walk that path, he will be very careful to avoid these things and achieve his goal. But then ajnanataha tatra patanti. But then a person who is not aware of these things, he definitely will be caught by the snakes, or he will get affected by the thorns, or he will fall into the well. So ajnanataha tatra patanti kechit. Some people, without knowing this, they will incur a lot of misery. But then the shloka finally says, jnane phalam pashya yatha vishishtam. So see for yourself what is the great advantage in being informed or in being knowledgeable. So jnane phalam pashya yatha vishishtam. What is the special fruit of being informed? This is a special fruit of being informed, because the not being informed is fraught with so much of risks. So this is a beautiful shloka from the Moksha Dharma of the Mahabharata. Tatacha, then now Bhagavad is giving more logic from worldly logic itself, that is which Vedanta alone can teach. So Tatacha dehadishu atmabuddhihi avidvan ragadveshadi prayuktaha dharmadharmanushtana krite jayate mriyate cha iti avagamyate. So now Bhagavad is he is so fond of Adhyasa Bhashya. In the 13th chapter, there is a lot of occasion to reminisce the Adhyasa Bhashya. So he is now giving a sample of that. These 3 or 4 lines are very, very nicely representing the Adhyasa Bhashya itself. Some very specific words are there, verbatim it is there. Some of them are the meaning is conveyed. Dehadishu atmabuddhihi avidvan. The person who is considering the body-mind complex as himself, as the self, as the Atman. So Atma Buddhihi. So this is a Bahubrihi compound. That is Dehadishu Atma iti Buddhihi yasya Saha Dehadishu Atma Buddhihi. So that person is called Atma Buddhihi. Dehadishu Atma Buddhihi. Avidvan, he is ignorant. Ragadveshadi Prayuktaha, being impelled by likes and dislikes, he performs actions, and those actions will be dharma and or adharma. So ragadveshadi prayuktaha dharma anushtana krite, he performs this dharmic and adharmic actions, and as a result jayate mriyate cha. As a result, he is born, that is, he remains in samsara. So he takes birth and he takes birth repeatedly. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, jayate mriyate cha iti avagamyate. So this we come to know from the Shastra. Dehadi Vetirikta Atmadarshinaha, now he is giving the contrast. Dehadi Vetirikta Atmadarshinaha, the one who has known himself to be distinct from the body-mind complex, for him, Ragadveshadi Prahana Apeksha Dharma Dharma Pravritti Upashamate. For him, he has he has put an end to body to likes and dislikes. That is, he has risen above likes and dislikes through performing karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and all that, and vichara and all that. So he has risen above raga dvesha, and naturally, for such a person, he will not perform dharma and adharma actions. He will be performing actions which will not put him in this samsara at all. That is, it's called Krishna, Akrishna. So in the Yoga Shastra, Krishna is black. So black is denoting Papa Karma, Adharma Karma, and Akrishna is Punya Karma. But then the recommended thing is that you should go beyond Krishna and Akrishna. So that is the Karma Yoga actually, that is. And Bhagavad Gita itself says that yoga karmasu kaushalam. So the yoga is that is what is yoga, the smart way of going beyond punya and papa, and karma, which is by nature binding, whether it is punya or papa. Now it becomes when karma yoga is performed, that very karma which would normally bind a person will turn into releasing mode. It becomes an upaya for getting released. So that is the greatness of karma yoga. Ragadveshadi prahana apeksha dharma pravritti upashamat. For him, the dharma pravritti has come to an end altogether. Muchyante. So for a person, such a person gets released. Iti na kenasite pratyakyatum shakyam nyayataha. So this kind of a situation or this phenomenon can never be refuted or dispelled by anybody through logic. So such a clear logic he has stated. One who is ignorant, he will be bound by ragadvesha, and he will be performing karmas, dharma and dharma, and he will remain in samsara. The one who is knows himself as distinct from the body-mind complex will free himself from ragadvesha, and he will not perform any karma that will bind him, and he gets released. So this is the logic here, so clearly stated. Tatra evam sati kshetragnasya ishwarasyaiva sataha avidyakrita upadibhetataha samsaritvam iva bhavati yatha dehadyatmatvam atmanaha. So when such is the situation, what is the situation? The Shruti has taught, Smriti has taught, and the logic also tells us very clearly that going on the path of ignorance will be resulting in samsara, perpetuating samsara, and becoming enlightened will free him. So, tatra evam sati kshetragnasya ishwarasyaiva sataha. So now he is coming back to the objection raised based on the statement that the kshetragna in every body, that is the knower of the body, is non-different from Brahman. The consequences of that were stated, and the negative consequences, and that is that is being refuted here. So kshetragnasya ishwarasyaiva sataha vidyakrita upadi vedataha samsaritvam. So the kshetragna, that is the knower of the body-mind complex, the consciousness, that is, he is actually non-different from Brahman, but he doesn't know that. So kshetragnasya ishwarasyaiva sataha. So the person who is kshetragna, who is Ishvara himself, that is Brahman itself, avidyakrita upadi vedataha, because of the upadi, avidya caused upadis, that is body-mind complex, and getting identified with them, samsaritvam iva bhavati. That samsaritvam also is only a seeming samsaritvam, because in truth he is actually Brahman, asamsari Brahman. But because of this avidya, he appears to be samsari. That's all. There also the Vedanta doesn't say that he is really a samsari. No, not at all. And Bhagavad will take care to say that very, very clearly in so many places. Yatha dehadi atmatvam atmanaha. Just like he is giving an example from the Vedanta itself, just like for the Atman, being endowed with body-mind complex is not the true nature of Atman. It is only a seeming appearing phenomenon. That's all. It is not real truth at all. So for the Atman, not being endowed with the body-mind complex is the true nature. But if the Atman is appearing to be endowed with body-mind complex, it is not real. This is exactly what is stated in the Adhyasa Bhashya in the very first two lines. Prasiddhaha dehadishu anatmasu atmabhavaha nishtitaha avijakritaha. So in all the beings, whether it is human or divine, that is devas or yakshas, kinnaras or animals, plants or whatever, for all bodies, all jivas, Chantunam hi prasiddhaha dehadishu anatmasu atmabhavaha nishtitaha avijakritaha. So it is, we can give a sweeping rule that wherever you find a jiva, that is because of the wrong identification with the body mind complex, which is because of avidya. So dehadishu anatmasu, dehadis, that is body mind complex, is the not self, that is anatma. In that atmabhava, taking that to be oneself, nishtitaha avidyakritaha, surely it is because of avidya only. Yatha sthano, he is giving an analogy, yatha sthano purusha nishtayaha. By seeing a pillar or a stub, a person from a distance thinks that it is, he concludes that it is a person, it is a human there. Nacha etavata, just because he thinks that it is a person, it is not going to become a person, it is only his ignorance. The sthano remains sthano only. That's what he says. Nacha etavata purusha dharmaha sthano bhavati. So just because he has considered the sthano, that is the pillar or the stub, to be a human, the human characteristics will not be found to be there in the pillar or stub, sthano bhavati, or the vice versa. Sthano dharmava purushasya. Tata na chaitanya dharmaha. So in the same way, na chaitanya dharmaha dehasya deha dharmo va chaitanasya. So in the same way, the chaitanya dharma, that is sattva, chitta, ananda and all that, cannot be there in the body mind complex at all. And also vice versa, the body mind complex, the attributes of the body mind complex, like the body, for example, it is born, it grows, and it is subject to disease and all that, and death and all that. These things will not be there for the Atman at all. And if you take the mind, the attributes like misery, anxiety, ignorance and all that, they are not going to be there for the Atman. Chetanasya na bhavati. So sukha dukkha mohatmakatvadihi. So these are the deha dharma. He is giving a sample there. Sukha dukkha mohatmakatvadi. So these are all the dharmas of the body mind complex. They cannot be there for the Atman. Atmaha na yuktaha. Avidya kritatva avisheshat. So because it is definitely because of avidya only. So naturally, whatever is because of avidya, it will not be there for the adhisthana. So this statement he has made in the Adhyasa Bhashya itself. Tatraivam sati tatkritena matrena apina sambhadyate. So if a person were to superimpose a snake on a rope, where there is a rope really, not knowing that it's a rope, if he is going to think that it's a snake, the characteristics of the snake are not going to be there in the rope will never be affected. Just because he is superimposing, the rope will remain rope alone. It will not become a poisonous thing and all that. So, avidya krita atra avisheshat jara mrityute. So just like jara and mrityu, that is old age and death, which are properties of the body, they can never become the property of the Atman. So that is, he is giving that as an analogy. So we will end this session here. So the paragraph is ended now. And now the sequel, there will be a small objection raised by the opponent based on this discourse, and it will be addressed by the Siddhanta. Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharyaha Santume Janma Janmani Vidyavaniya Sampannam Vitaralum Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvajnam Vidushekara Bharatim Narayana Paro Vyakta Randam Abhyakta Sambhavam Andasyantastume Lokaha Sattadvipacha Me Dini Om Tatsate.